They laughed at the tiny alien girl. Until a human driver saw what she was truly capable of. The city of Nexus Prime looked peaceful from far away. From space, it was a ring of shining lights on a glowing planet. But peace was only an illusion. Inside the city, power and fear moved quietly under every conversation, every order, every government announcement, and in the middle of this enormous world, a very small woman hurried across a crowded transit station. Her name was Vi. She looked almost delicate, light blue skin, silver blue hair hidden under a black beret, and large round eyes full of quiet intelligence. But no one saw her intelligence. They only saw her height, barely 4 feet tall. In Nexus Prime, where Draconians stood tall like armored dragons and Centurions were giant stone-skinned titans, Vi looked like a child who had gotten lost in the wrong world. That morning was worse than usual. She was late, again. Her wrist device blinked urgently. Shift begins in 4 minutes. Late. Termination notice. She breathed in sharply and picked up her pace, only to be stopped by a flash of golden scales blocking her path. A towering draconian businessman looked down at her, amusement twisting his lipless mouth. "Move, little traveler," he rumbled. "Play school shuttles are on the lower platform." A few others around him chuckled. Vi lowered her gaze. "I am 26 standard cycles," she said softly, but her voice disappeared into the noise. She stepped aside. She always stepped aside. The crowd flowed around her like a river around a pebble. She felt small, invisible, and tired of being both. Her transport bus approached the platform, silver, humming, sleek. This was her chance. If she missed it, she would be late. If she was late, she would lose her job. And if she lost her job, she didn't want to think about it. She ran. Her shoes slapped against the polished station floor. People cursed as she weaved between them. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. "Wait! Please stop!" She didn't mean it like a command, it just came out of her in panic. But the air vibrated, not like sound, like pressure, like something pushing outward from inside her. The massive silver transport froze, mid-glide. Its lights flickered once, then shut down completely. The engines went silent. The pulsing energy core dimmed. The entire platform fell silent. Dozens of eyes turned toward her. No one moved. Machines did not stop because someone shouted at them. That was impossible. The bus doors opened with a slow hiss. A man stepped out. He was human. Humans were rare this deep in Confederation territory. Most had left or gone into hiding after the old human wars. But this one was here, close, studying her. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark blue driver's uniform. His sandy hair was cut short. His hazel eyes were sharp, not fearful, just watchful, curious. He walked toward her, calm, controlled. "Did you do that?" he asked. His voice was steady, but there was something underneath. Something like recognition. Vi blinked at him. "Do what?" He gestured to the silent bus. The bus shouldn't stop like that. It didn't slow down. It obeyed. "That doesn't happen." Vi's mouth opened slightly. I just shouted. "I didn't." The human extended a hand. "Dylan." She hesitated, then placed her small hand in his larger one. "Vitali." "But..." "Vi's fine." His hand was warm, steady. "Get on," Dylan said quietly. "You can explain later." Vi entered, but she didn't notice the 3 figures near the platform wall, 2 Vesperians and 1 Centurion, speaking into comm units. Their eyes all locked on her. During the ride, Vi sat near the back. Her mind tried to make sense of what just happened. Maybe the bus was malfunctioning. Maybe Dylan pressed an emergency stop. Maybe Dylan glanced at her through the mirror. His eyes were not afraid. They were calculating, concerned. When the bus reached her stop, she stood. But as she passed the front, Dylan leaned slightly toward her. "You didn't forget to scan your pass," he said softly. Before she could respond, he slipped a folded paper into her palm. "Don't look at it until you're off." His eyes held hers for a moment, serious, protective, and something else. Urgency. She stepped off the transport. The doors shut. The bus drove away. Only after the crowd dispersed did she open the small piece of paper. The handwriting was quick, sharp. Deliberate. They saw what you did. They will come for you. Meet me. Orbital Cafe, 1800 hours. Don't speak to anyone. Her pulse quickened. She lifted her gaze. Across the street. 2 Vesperian agents stood completely still, insect-like eyes shining under the station lights, watching her. No blinking, no emotion, just waiting. Vi swallowed. Her world had changed in one moment. She had no idea how, but she understood one thing. Someone wanted her, and they would not ask nicely. The man who knew too much. The city streets felt different now. They were the same glowing walkways, the same floating signs, the same transport drones sliding through the sky, but Vi no longer walked through them unnoticed. The world felt sharp, watching, listening. She pulled her beret lower and kept her head down as she headed toward the research district. Her steps were quick, but not too quick. She didn't want to look like she was running. Running would confirm guilt. And guilt invited pursuit. She passed a holoscreen on the corner. A news anchor spoke. Confederation security has increased presence in several central districts today. Citizens are advised to remain calm. Vi didn't slow to listen. She could feel the eyes. Not normal attention. Surveillance attention. When she reached the glass front doors of the Xenobiology Research Institute, she forced herself to breathe steady. She swiped her wrist pass. The doors opened. The security guard didn't greet her like usual. He just stared. His eyes flicked to his earpiece. He knew. She kept walking. Inside the lab, everything looked normal. Scientists speaking softly over equipment, screens showing alien cell structures, robotic arms moving samples into stasis fields. But Vi felt it. The silence under the noise. The attention under the routine. The watchers. She sat at her workstation, hands slightly shaking. The moment she logged into her console, a bright red notification appeared. Clearance access restricted. Privileges under review. She swallowed hard. Her supervisor stepped in. Dr. Renner, tall, cold, a voice like steel. Vitali. A word, not a request, a command. Vi followed her to a private office. The glass walls shimmered into privacy mode, turning opaque. Dr. Renner folded her hands behind her back. You were late this morning. Yes. I'm sorry. And yet, security reported you were seen at the central transit platform. Her tone was calm, but too calm, like a knife wrapped in velvet. Vi's chest tightened. I was just trying to make my shift. Dr. Renner leaned in. You didn't just try to make your shift, Vitali. Something happened. Something very unusual. Vi felt her pulse start to race. She said nothing. Dr. Renner watched her carefully. If there is anything you need to inform me of, now is the time. There was no kindness in those words, only expectation. Vi forced her voice to remain level. I don't know what you mean. Dr. Renner's jaw tightened. A silent message passed between the supervisor and someone behind the glass. Vi understood. They would not ask again. Next time they would take. The moment Dr. Renner turned, Vi calmly walked out. She did not run, but she did not stay. She walked straight to the elevator, every step precise, controlled. 2 floors down, security hall. She pressed the door release button. It did not open. It was locked from the outside. Her breath caught. In the metal shine of the door, she saw it, a Vesperian agent behind her, tall, insect thin, eyes like black. Mirrors. He was watching, waiting, not moving toward her, just watching because she was cornered, unless... Vi turned. The agent stepped closer, very slow, very careful, like someone approaching a dangerous animal. Her voice came out. Before she even decided to speak, soft, controlled, stand. Still, the agent's body locked, every muscle froze, even his compound eyes did not blink. Didn't wait to question it. She pushed the emergency stair access door. It opened with a hiss. She slipped inside, down the stairs, out a service exit, into daylight. Into the crowds, she blended in. Not running, just moving, just breathing. But inside, something was waking. Something powerful. Something hers. She reached a public square with neon lights and floating drink kiosks. The air smelled like ion discharge and street food. Music played from a hovering speaker orb. She didn't look behind. Or she didn't need to. She felt she was being followed, but not just watched now. Hunted. Vi. Inhaled slowly, she whispered. Stop looking at me. All around her. Heads turned away. Just like that. Like it was natural. Like she was invisible again. But this time, by choice. She exhaled shakily. She was scared. But also something else. Strong. At 1800. Hours, she reached Orbital Cafe, a glass dome cafe hanging halfway up a skyline tower. Small lights floated inside like tiny stars. Ships glided outside the transparent walls. She stepped in carefully, and there at a corner table was Dylan. He stood when he saw her. His expression was relief mixed with urgency. I was afraid you wouldn't come, he said. Vi's voice shook. They followed me, Dylan nodded. I know, he gestured to the booth. Sit, we don't have much time. She sat across from him. Her hands trembled on the table. Tell me what's happening to me. Dylan leaned closer, his voice low. Serious, dangerous. You have something called the command gene. The power to control machines with your voice, Vi. Blinked. That's not real. Dylan shook his head. It is. And the Confederation has been trying to create it for decades. But their experiments fail. Their test subjects break. Or die. Vi's blood ran cold. He wasn't joking, and he wasn't scared. He was angry. They never expected someone like you to develop it naturally, he said. Now, they want you. Vi swallowed hard. Why you? Why help me? Dylan looked directly into her eyes. Because I know what happens to people they take. His tone left no room for doubt. And because you're not weak. Vi, he leaned closer. You're the most dangerous person in this entire city. They just don't know it yet. The city that turned against them. The cafe lights were gentle and warm, like tiny floating stars drifting under the glass dome. But Vi couldn't feel their beauty. Her heartbeat was loud, too loud. She kept her hands under the table, fingers pressed tight together to stop them from shaking. Dylan sat across from her, calm, still, watching the entrance. The ceiling, the windows. Not with fear, with habit, like someone who had lived too long in danger to ever relax again. He leaned forward. Vi, listen carefully. Once we leave this cafe, the city is no longer safe for you. She nodded slowly. I know. No, Dylan said softly. You think you know, but you don't understand yet, he paused. Everyone in this city trusts the Confederation. They trust the government. They trust the agents. If those agents say you're dangerous, no one will question it. They will help them catch you. Vi looked down at the table. Her voice was tiny. Why me? Dylan's expression shifted. Not pity, not fear, respect. Because you can override technology with your voice. Do you realize what that means? Entire fleets could obey you. Shields could fall. Weapons could disarm. Drones could turn on their masters. You are not just special, Vi. He held her gaze. You are a threat to the most powerful government in the galaxy. She felt the weight of those words sink into her. Bones. And then, the cafe doors slid open. Two uniformed. Vesperian agents entered. Not searching. Not walking, moving. Directly toward their table. Dylan's hand slipped. Over Vi's under the table. Do not look at them, he murmured. Just laugh. Like I told a joke. Vi didn't understand until she felt it. Every camera. Every drone. Every security sensor. They were all watching her. One wrong movement, and alarms would echo across the district. So she forced a small laugh. It sounded scared, but it sounded like a laugh. Dylan squeezed her hand once. Now go to the restroom, he whispered. Walk, don't run. Through the back hallway. Service exit. I'll meet you in 2 minutes. But trust me. His voice was firm. Not asking, guiding. Vi stood and walked toward the restrooms. The agents' heads turned to follow her. And Dylan stood up at the same time, blocking their view. Excuse me, he said loudly. You two look lost. Bathroom is that way. Drinks counter is over there. But if you want the menu, try using your eyes instead of staring at people like creeps, the nearest agent hissed. Human, move aside. Make. Me, the cafe went quiet. The agent stepped closer. and behind them, a glass tray fell, but it didn't fall. It flew straight off a counter, straight into a server, straight into a stack of glass. Perhaps the crash was loud and sudden, just chaotic. Enough to pull every eye in the cafe. Dylan had thrown it without looking. Like he threw it, Vi took her chance. She slipped behind the service counter, into the back hallway, through the narrow metal door, down a dim corridor, and then outside, into the alley behind the cafe. The air smelled of metal dust and rain. Her heart raced. Footsteps. Dylan came running. He grabbed her hand. "This way!" He led her through twisting alleyways, past dumpsters, street vents, glowing signs, until they reached a small side street where an unmarked transport pod waited. He slammed the door open. "Get in." She climbed in, breath shaking. Dylan jumped in beside her and hit the accelerator. The pod shot into traffic, blending with hundreds of others, but Vi looked back. The mall, cafe, the street, the sky, and then a search drone rose above the buildings. It turned sharply. It saw the pod, a siren activated. They were spotted. Dylan. "I see it," he muttered. The drone streaked forward. Engines whining. Vi felt panic tighten in her chest. She didn't think. She didn't plan. She just spoke. "Turn away." The drone jerked mid-flight. Its engines sputtered. It rotated slowly and flew in the opposite direction. Like her words had been a switch. Dylan stared at her, not shocked anymore, just awed. "You're getting stronger," he said, quietly. Vi didn't feel strong. She felt terrified. "What do we do now?" "We leave the city," Dylan answered. "There's a forest north of Nexus Prime, the Emerald Wilds. Hard to scan. Hard to navigate. We disappear there. For now." Vi looked out the window. The city lights were fading behind them. Ahead, darkness. "Trees unknown," she whispered. "I've never been outside the city before." Dylan's voice softened. "Stay close to me. I'll guide you." Vi turned to him. Her voice was small. "Why are you helping me?" "Really?" Dylan didn't look away from the road, but his voice held the truth. "Because I've seen what the Confederation does to people like you. And because," he finally looked at her, for just one moment, "because I think you're worth saving." The forest that listened. The city lights faded behind them like dying stars. Ahead stretched darkness, deep green and glowing faintly with bioluminescent life. The Emerald Wilds were not a normal forest. Every tree, vine, and creature pulsed with light, like the forest was breathing in slow, ancient rhythms. The door of the damaged transport pod slid open with a metallic gasp. Smoke rose from the engine. "Tracking pulse," Dylan muttered. "They hit us mid-flight. The pod's useless now." Vi stepped out, hugging her jacket against the cool air. The forest was silent, too silent. No birds, no wind, just a deep humming sound, like the ground itself was alive. Dylan scanned their surroundings carefully. "We go on foot now." He offered his hand, not pulling her, not pushing her, just making sure she knew she wasn't alone. She took it. They walked into the glowing trees. The deeper they went, the stranger the forest became. Moss glowed under their feet. Flowers flickered like tiny lanterns. Insects buzzed, leaving trails of green light in the air. Despite the beauty, Vi felt something else. Something watching, not threatening, just aware. Like the forest recognized her. She swallowed. "Dylan, are you sure this place is safe?" "No," he answered honestly. "But it's safer than the city." Vi appreciated that. He didn't lie. Ever. They continued through thick ferns and rising mist. Eventually, Vi's foot slipped on a glowing root. She stumbled, and Dylan caught her, steady and warm. "Careful," he murmured. She wasn't used to someone catching her before she fell. She wasn't used to anyone even noticing when she stumbled. Her voice came out small. "Thank you," he smiled gently. "Always." Hours passed. The forest grew dark. The bioluminescence dimmed, reacting to night. Dylan guided her into a clearing where a fallen tree formed a natural shelter. "We stay here," he said softly. "Just for a few hours." They sat close, sharing body warmth. The forest air smelled of rain and luminous flowers. Vi stared at her hands. What's happening to me, Dylan? Why can I do these things? He thought for a moment. Your voice doesn't just make sound. It changes signals. Machines follow commands because you speak in a frequency that affects energy systems. But the agent at the Institute, Vi whispered. He froze. He's not a machine. Dylan looked at her. That was the moment he realized the truth. Her power wasn't just technological. It means you're evolving, he said quietly. Your voice is reaching beyond metal and circuits, into the nervous system of living beings. Vi's heart pounded. That means I could control minds? Maybe, Dylan said. Or influence them. There's a difference. Control is force. Influence is direction. What you choose makes the difference. She stared at him, searching his face. You're not afraid of me, are you? He reached out, brushing a loose strand of hair from her cheek. No. I'm afraid of everyone else who wants to use you. Her breath caught at the warmth in his voice, but a sound snapped through the trees. Not animal, not wind, mechanical. A thin, metallic whine. Dylan reacted instantly. He pulled Vi behind the fallen tree. Drones, he whispered. They found us faster than I thought. 2 reconnaissance drones appeared above the treetops, searchlights scanning the ground. Vi felt panic rising, but something else rose with it. A pull, a signal, a vibration beneath her ribs. The drones glowed like tiny stars in her mind. She felt them, connected to them, not controlling them, as if they were listening. She stepped forward. Dylan grabbed her wrist. Vi, no, it's okay, she whispered. She raised her voice, not loud, not screaming. Just steady, do not see us. The forest held its breath. The drones hovered, lights flickered, their engines hummed softer, and they drifted away. No alarm, no alert, just silence. Dylan stared at her. Vi, you didn't disable them. No, she said quietly. They chose not to report us. He exhaled slowly, half fear, half awe. You aren't just commanding machines. Vi felt it too now. The forest, the air, the world. She didn't control technology. She communicated with it. Dylan stepped closer, voice low and steady. This is bigger than either of us realized. The Confederation won't just hunt you. They'll panic. They'll declare you a weapon, a threat. They'll burn entire cities to get you. Vi clenched her small hands. I don't want to hurt anyone. That's exactly why you need to survive, Dylan said. He placed his hand over hers. You're the first person with this power who isn't trying to control anything. Her voice was barely a whisper. I'm scared. He pulled her gently against him. I know, but you're not alone anymore. For a moment, the forest felt warm, safe, alive. But then, a roar shattered the silence. Not human, not machine. Something hungry, something hunting. Dylan's expression changed. His hand moved to the hidden weapon at his belt. That, he said quietly, stepping in front of her, is not a drone. Vi's pulse quickened. Something moved between the trees, tall, fast, and covered in mottled shadow. A tracker beast, bred to hunt, bred to never stop. Its eyes glowed red. It had found them. The voice that reached the living. The roar echoed through the glowing forest, shaking leaves loose from the trees. Vi's breath stopped halfway in her chest. The creature stepped into view, tall as a tree, all muscle and dark-scaled skin. Its eyes glowed red, burning like coals, and metal implants pulsed along its skull. Tracker beast, but not natural. Modified, engineered. Made to hunt anything the Confederation marked as priority capture. Vi was that target now. Dylan pulled her behind him. His stance guarded, every muscle ready. Don't move, he murmured. The creature sniffed the air. Slow. Deep inhales, locking onto their scent. Its metal-tipped claws scraped the ground. Vi whispered. It's smelling us. It's reading your bioelectric field, Dylan corrected. It doesn't need eyes. It feels you, the beast lunged. Dylan pushed Vi to the ground, just as the creature crashed forward, claws tearing through the fallen tree trunk like it was paper. Splinters burst into glowing dust. Dylan rolled, came up on one knee, pulse pistol drawn. He fired. Blue plasma hit the beast's shoulder, but it barely flinched. The implants absorbed the hit, distributing the energy. Of course they upgraded these things, Dylan muttered. The beast snarled and pounced again. This time it was aiming for Vi. Dylan tackled her aside, landing hard on the glowing moss. Pain ripped through his voice. You okay? Vi gasped. Fine, he lied. Trying to stand, only to collapse again. The beast circled now, slowly, confidently. It knew its prey was trapped. Vi felt her heart race, her fear growing, her hands shaking, but beneath the panic, something else stirred, the same thing she felt with the drones. The same vibration in her chest, the same call in her pulse. She could feel the beast, its heartbeat, its breathing, the electric impulses firing through its nerves. The implants bridging muscle and metal. It was like seeing wires inside a machine, except the machine was alive. Vi stood up. Dylan grabbed her wrist. No, stay behind me. Vi, listen. She shook her head. No, I feel it. Her voice was trembling. But her feet moved forward anyway. The beast roared, louder, furious, its eyes fixed on her small frame. Dylan shouted, Vi, run! But Vi didn't run. She spoke, not loudly, not with force, just with certainty. Stop. The world went silent. The creature froze mid-step. Its claws dug into the glowing earth, locked in place. Its breath trembled in its chest. Its muscles quivered. Its implants flickered. If I took another step, her voice softened. You are hurting. Let go. The beast shuddered. Vi saw it now, clear as daylight. The implants in the creature's skull were forcing aggression, forcing obedience, forcing pain. Its mind was not wild. It was trapped. Vi reached out, not with her hands, but with that strange new sense inside her. Her voice lowered to a whisper. Sleep. The forest lights dimmed around them. The tracker beast's red eyes flickered. Once, twice. Then it collapsed gently like a puppet with cut strings. Not dead. Just resting. Breathing slow. Peaceful. Free. Dylan stared at Vi the way someone looked at a miracle. Vi. You didn't just command the implants, he said quietly. Vi felt tears fill her eyes. I touched its mind. Not control. Not dominance. Connection. The creature, once a weapon, lay at her feet like a sleeping animal finally freed from pain. Dylan knelt beside her, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. Do you understand? Machines follow programming. But you just reached a living nervous system. You changed it. Without breaking it. Without hurting it. His voice was full of awe. No one, not humans, not Confederation, no species, has ever done that. Vi wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I don't want to be a weapon. Dylan, she whispered. He took her hand gently. And that's exactly why you must survive. But the quiet didn't last. Above the trees, something heavy moved through the sky, a dark ship. Long, silent, predatory, its shadow washed over the forest. Dylan's face hardened. That's not a drone patrol. The ship lowered. The symbol on its hull glowed. Crimson, High Command Retrieval Unit, only elites deployed. Them. And in front of the ship, stepping onto the ground, came a figure nearly as tall as the trees. A towering form of scales, metal armor, and glowing neural circuitry, half draconian, half machine, eyes burning like molten gold. Dylan exhaled sharply. Commander Rax, he whispered. The Confederation's top hunter. Rax's mechanical voice echoed through the forest. Vitali Tanyayan. You will surrender, or your protector dies. Vi stepped back. Her legs shook. She wasn't ready. Her voice felt weak. Now, her body was exhausted. Dylan stepped in front of her. No one touches her, he said. Rax didn't even raise a weapon. He didn't need to. Human, he said coldly. You will break. Dylan didn't flinch. He stood between Vi and the unstoppable, because he chose her. Vi's voice trembled. "Dylan." He glanced back at her and smiled. Small, soft, real. "I'm not leaving you." The forest held its breath. The next move would change everything. The voice that reached the living. The roar echoed through the glowing forest, shaking leaves loose from the trees. Vi's breath stopped halfway in her chest. The creature stepped into view. Tall as a tree, all muscle and dark-scaled skin. Its eyes glowed red, burning like coals, and metal implants pulsed along its skull. A tracker beast, but not natural. Modified, engineered, made to hunt anything the Confederation marked as priority capture. Vi was that target now. Dylan pulled her behind him, his stance guarded, every muscle ready. "Don't move," he murmured. The creature sniffed the air, slow, deep inhales, locking onto their scent. Its metal-tipped claws scraped the ground. Vi whispered, "It's smelling us." "It's reading your bioelectric field," Dylan corrected. "It doesn't need eyes." "It feels you!" The beast lunged. Dylan pushed Vi to the ground just as the creature crashed forward, claws tearing through the fallen tree trunk like it was paper. Splinters burst into glowing dust. Dylan rolled, came up on one knee, pulse pistol drawn. He fired. Blue plasma hit the beast's shoulder, but it barely flinched. The implants absorbed the hit, distributing the energy. "Of course they upgraded these things," Dylan muttered. The beast snarled and pounced again. This time it was aiming for Vi. Dylan tackled her aside, landing hard on the glowing moss. Pain ripped through his voice. "You okay?" Vi gasped. "Fine," he lied, trying to stand, only to collapse again. The beast circled now, slowly, confidently. It knew its prey was trapped. Vi felt her heart race, her fear growing, her hands shaking, but beneath the panic, something else stirred, the same thing she felt with the drones, the same vibration in her chest, the same call in her pulse. She could feel the beast, its heartbeat, its breathing, the electric impulses firing through its nerves, the implants bridging muscle and metal. It was like seeing wires inside a machine, except the machine was alive. Vi stood up. Dylan grabbed her wrist. "No, stay behind me. Vi, listen." She shook her head. "No, I feel it." Her voice was trembling, but her feet moved forward anyway. The beast roared, louder, furious, its eyes fixed on her small frame. Dylan shouted, "Vi, run!" But Vi didn't run. She spoke, not loudly, not with force, just with certainty. "Stop." The world went silent. The creature froze mid-step. Its claws dug into the glowing earth, locked in place. Its breath trembled in its chest. Its muscles quivered. Its implants flickered. Vi took another step. Her voice softened. "You are hurting. Let go." The beast shuddered. Vi saw it now, clear as daylight. The implants in the creature's skull were forcing aggression, forcing obedience, forcing pain. Its mind was not wild. It was trapped. Vi reached out, not with her hands, but with that strange new sense inside her. Her voice lowered to a whisper. "Sleep." The forest lights dimmed around them. The tracker beast's red eyes flickered. Once, twice, then it collapsed gently, like a puppet with cut strings. Not dead, just resting, breathing slow, peaceful, free. Dylan stared at Vi the way someone looked at a miracle. "Vi, you didn't just command the implants," he said quietly. Vi felt tears fill her eyes. "I touched its mind. Not control, not dominance. Connection." The creature, once a weapon, lay at her feet like a sleeping animal finally freed from pain. Dylan knelt beside her, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. "Vi, do you understand? Machines follow programming. But you just reached a living nervous system. You changed it. Without breaking it. Without hurting it." His voice was full of awe. No one, not humans, not Confederation, no species, has ever done that. Vi wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I don't want to be a weapon, Dylan, she whispered. He took her hand gently. And that's exactly why you must survive. But the quiet didn't last. Above the trees, something heavy moved through the sky. A dark ship, long, silent, predatory. Its shadow washed over the forest. Dylan's face hardened. That's not a drone patrol. The ship lowered. The symbol on its hull glowed crimson. High Command Retrieval Unit. Only elites deployed them, and in front of the ship, stepping onto the ground, came a figure nearly as tall as the trees, a towering form of scales, metal armor, and glowing neural circuitry. Half draconian, half machine. Eyes burning like molten gold, Dylan exhaled sharply. Commander Rax, he whispered. The Confederation's top hunter. Rax's mechanical voice echoed through the forest. Vitaly Tanyain, you will surrender, or your protector dies. Vi stepped back. Her legs shook. She wasn't ready. Her voice felt weak now. Her body was exhausted. Dylan stepped in front of her. No one touches her, he said. Rax didn't even raise a weapon. He didn't need to. Human, he said coldly. You will break. Dylan didn't flinch. He stood between Vi and the unstoppable, because he chose her. Vi's voice trembled. Dylan. He glanced back at her and smiled. Small, soft, real. I'm not leaving you. The forest held its breath. The next move would change everything. The voice that changed the galaxy. The walls of the old research outpost vibrated as Commander Rax slammed his metal fist into the entrance. Dust fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered. The door bent inward, steel groaning under the force. He was almost inside. Vi stood in the center of the room, breathing slowly, eyes closed. Her hands were trembling, but not from fear, from power. Dylan stood beside her, pulse pistol raised, ready to defend her with his life. Ilya prepared the ancient neural amplifier, connecting old wires and crystalline nodes that still faintly shimmered with stored energy. We don't have much time, Ilya said urgently. Once you connect to this system, your voice will not just echo here. It will reach the entire Confederation grid, Vi nodded. She understood. This was not about stopping Rax. This was about changing everything. Rax slammed into the door again. The metal buckled inward, and smoke hissed from the hinges. Dylan took a step forward, shielding Vi with his body. If he gets in, he began. He won't, Vi whispered. Her voice was small, but sure. Ilya took a gentle breath. Once the system engages, you will feel the minds of millions. Do not try to control them. Simply speak your truth. Vi stepped into the neural interface seat. The cold metal arms curved around her head, humming softly. Dylan knelt in front of her, placing his hands over hers. His voice was quiet, but every word was real. Vi, no matter what happens, you changed my world. You made me believe again. I won't lose you. Vi's eyes glistened. Stay with me. Always, Dylan said. He pressed his forehead to hers. For one breath, the world felt still. Then, the door exploded inward. Commander Rax stormed in, towering, furious, unstoppable. His claws glowed with killing heat. His voice thundered, "She belongs to the Confederation." Dylan moved to protect her, but Vi's voice came first, not loud, not desperate, just, "True, I belong to myself. The amplifier..." Activated. Light rushed through her, veins like stars pouring into her bones. Her eyes glowed with pure white energy. The signal spread, through wires, through satellite towers, through communication streams, through every robotic system, every AI grid, every drone, every screen, across every city and every planet connected to the Confederation. People paused mid-step. Holograms flickered. Machines froze, and Vi's voice echoed across the galaxy. My name is Vitaly Tanyain. I was not born to overthrow you. I was not made to control you. I was made from two worlds, two peoples. Humans and Azurians were never meant to be enemies. We were meant to stand together. Images, memories, and truth appeared on screens everywhere. The suppressed research files, the experiments, The tracker beasts crying in pain, the forced hybrid soldiers, the Confederation's lies. Citizens gasped. Governments panicked. Soldiers lowered weapons as doubt filled their eyes. Vi continued, voice steady, clear. The command gene was never a weapon. It is connection. A bridge between living minds. A reminder that no species is meant to rule another. Rax staggered, not from pain, from uncertainty. His implants flickered. His voice, once mechanical and sure, cracked. Serve order. Vi met his eyes. There is no order in chains, only fear. You deserve freedom too, her voice touched his circuits. His nerves, his soul, Rax's metal arm trembled, then lowered. His breathing changed, slow, heavy. Human for the first time. He did not attack. He knelt, not because she commanded him, because he was finally free. Outside, across Nexus Prime, crowds flooded the streets. Confederation banners fell, cities lit with protest and hope. The High Council collapsed within hours. A new alliance formed, one with equal representation for all species, including humans, for the first time in centuries. V's message became the spark that ignited a peaceful revolution. Days later, Vi stood on the balcony of the newly formed Interworld Unity Embassy, looking out at a skyline no longer filled with fear. The air felt lighter, the sky brighter. Dylan stepped beside her, placing an arm around her shoulders. She leaned into him easily, comfortably, belonging there. You changed everything, Dylan said softly. No, Vi replied. We did, he smiled. You still think you're small, don't you? Vi looked up at him, eyes shining like the glowing forest she came from. Size never decides power, she said. Connection does, he chuckled. Tiny powerhouse, she nudged him with her elbow. Tall, emotional human, they laughed. And somewhere deep in the emerald wilds, the tracker beast slept peacefully under glowing trees, free at last. As evening fell, stars blinked to life. Vi reached out her hand to them, not to command them, just to feel connected. The galaxy was vast. But she was not small anymore. She had found her voice, and the universe listened. End of story. If you enjoyed this video, like this video, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon to stay updated with fresh content every day.